So you told us you spent a lot of time in Iowa in the 70s and 80s. I guess what did you see for entrepreneurship then?
Farms. I mean, the greatest entrepreneurs in the history of America, right? Farmers. We all forget that they take huge risk. They face lots of uncertainty. They invest often more than their last dime. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I was here totally working in ag and saw great people, beautiful country, and lots of long deserted roads.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess what's changed?
Sorry?
What's changed?
Everything. Well, it's a different trip. I bet if I went back to road KK and QQ, that hasn't changed hardly at all. In fact, here some of those places don't even have broadband, which is understandable, the economic. But what I've seen here is this incredible passion for entrepreneurship and for doing something different and doing it right, and this sort of wonderful environmental ecosystem of all of the elements that fuel entrepreneurship. University, the hospital, the mentors that volunteer to help the entrepreneurs, and even a few people are willing to write some investment checks along the way. And it's just who'd have thunk it that sort of what is it, 80 miles from Des Moines? You got this just robust environmental and entrepreneurial ecosystem. It's just been a delight to see and be a part of.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess, is there anything that's especially exciting to you that you've seen while you've been here?
Yeah, the guy we were just talking about is young. What do we know Tyler's last name? Mitchum? Fitchum. Fitch.
Yeah.
Finch. Not, okay. Yeah. I met a 21-year-old entrepreneur, U of I junior, Tyler Finch. Started his business at age 16, working on a dial-up computer on the farm. 21 years old. He's got a 6-figure business that's growing and incredibly profitable. And one of the magical ingredients is that his cost of goods is very close to zero. And just with it, it's such a rare thing to see. And he's still, he's sort of bored with it because he's been doing it 5 or 6 years. But when we sat down and talked about, have you thought about all the other things this business could be? You could see him just light up.
Yeah.
That was really one highlight. The other was mixing it up for an entire day in a room full of 60 entrepreneurial educators, people who are teaching entrepreneurship in high school, not to teach high school kids to found Google, but to teach them life skills, science, technology, engineering studies, and how to look somebody in the eye and shake their hand and talk to them like an adult. And to see the passion on the educator side of entrepreneurship was the other just absolute delight.
Yeah, definitely. So when we talk about the entrepreneurial ecosystem, do you see any pieces that are missing or anything that we could do better over the past couple of days?
Well, the biggest thing, it would be really nice if just one venture capital fund had one partner in an office here. That would make a big difference, I think. I haven't really been that exposed to it, but my sense is that there isn't much of an angel network, angel community here. I'm sure there's plenty of money here. And many of the businesses I've seen in the last couple of days, $25,000 or $50,000 could be rocket fuel to them, and could propel them to Chicago, where the nearest pile of venture capitalists is. And so, in fact, I think it's an important challenge for the university to, if it's not quite the last, but the last critical piece of the ecosystem that probably needs more of a nudge. And I'm sure the university and Papa John Institute could work on that pretty easily.
Yeah.
Seem to tackle all kinds of challenges very, very, very well.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of your talk today was about kind of slowing down and not just rushing into being an entrepreneur. I guess, were there times in your life where you didn't follow that advice?
Oh, too many. That's where the advice comes from. I once bought a business Because well, I had spent 2 months doing diligence, and what I found in my diligence was that it was a bad business. So what did I do? I used that to drive the price down, and I bought a pile of dung for a lower price, but still a pile of dung. And I lived with that cursed pile of dung over my head for 5 or 6 years till I could dump it, basically. By no means the only example like that. And I think sort of part of the nature of entrepreneurship is self-confidence is both your best asset and one of your top liabilities. Oh, I can do anything. I'm an entrepreneur. Problems, no problem. I'm an entrepreneur. And sometimes you and I do things because of this ridiculous self-confidence. On the other hand, I've had months, several months at a time sometimes, and where business is just terrible. If you don't have self-confidence to know that you can pull it out, you're dead,
All right, cool. Is there anything else that you want people to know?
I don't know. I think one of the really most beautiful things I've seen here is the number of seasoned, highly successful executives, entrepreneurs who are mentoring, teaching, generous with their time, even more than with their checkbooks, although they seem to be getting those out too. And it's very refreshing to see. You don't see that by any means everywhere where you travel doing this sort of thing. So,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
my pleasure.